Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Steven Rondina, Bleacher Report, Esports and MMA, and I come to you once again with no microphone stand, but a box of tissues in Tim Hortons mug instead. As per usual, here with MTarget, caster, streamer, etc. Say something so they can see you.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Yeah. And we are here to discuss this week in Dota 2. And when we were discussing this last week, I was going to say, or I said, we're going to talk about Galaxy Battles and Summit 7. But about a half hour after I emailed you saying, hey, what time is good for you, a bunch of news about TI7 came out, including the 6 direct invited teams, as well as a brand new qualifier format and a new group stages format, kind of.
I mean, round robin is not super new, but 18 teams instead of
18 teams with 2 teams losing out in the group stages.
Yeah, because we did see a similar. I'm going to use massive quotation marks here in terms of larger than 16 teams when they invited 18 with 14 teams and then 4 wild cards, and then those 4 wild cards played beforehand to then play into the actual. So get down to the 16. So we have seen a greater than 16 before, but it was more that those 4 teams that have to play in to get the last 2 spots in March Madness style, not an actual 2 teams get knocked out before main stage kind of deal.
Yeah, so it's slightly different, but like I said, the teams get eliminated in the group stages rather than being part of their own separate little mini tournament.
Yeah, and so that means that theoretically, you could see Evil Geniuses never make it to the main stage.
That's true. Theoretically.
I mean, they would have to bottom out on their group, but it's possible. Like, that's the thing is that before it was you've got these 4 teams trying to play in, and now it's literally everybody's even in terms of their 9 teams on the 2 halves. Anybody who goes to the bottom of the barrel, bye-bye now.
Yeah.
Which could be make some for hilarious things depending on who gets knocked out.
It could, or it could result in some harumphing afterwards.
Yes.
But
the fanboys will complain if it's a team that is liked.
Oh, naturally. Or if all the Chinese teams just run house, then probably going to see complaining about that, because God knows Dota 2 has plenty of history of that, complaining about the success of Chinese teams.
But this is an even year, which means that it should be a Western team.
That's true.
Because it's even somehow it's worked out almost exactly that way, if not exactly that way.
Yes, it has.
Yep.
Anyway, so we've got for our 6 direct invited teams: OG, VP, Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid, Invictus Gaming, and Newbie. And any surprises there for you?
Not really. You've got 4 Western teams, 2 Chinese teams. Makes a decent amount of sense. You've got 2 European, 1 CIS, 1 NA, depending on how you want to count for this pro, obviously, and then IG and Newbie. And quite frankly, these are definitely the 6 teams that I had definite. And the other teams that we were talking about even last week, like Planet Odd, were those teams that we thought deserved it for legacy reasons, and only if there were 8 teams invited.
Yeah.
So as much as, yes, I look wrong, and I was wrong to a degree, I very much agree with these, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Especially with the results of Summit and Galaxy Battles.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Basically, it's the LAN winner, or the winner from each major LAN in the last couple months. We got the Manila Master winner. We've got the Summit 7 winner. We've got the Kiev Major winner. We've got the Epicenter winner, or Epicenter winner. Jeez. And then IG. So, but IG is more than deserving of an invite. So,
where did IG wind up recently? So let's see. IG. Punch my results. Oh, that's right. I got to go to the specific. Okay, they took. That's right. They took third, fourth at Kiev. They won DAC back in April, beginning of April.
Right.
So they did win that.
So
okay. And they beat OG there too. So
that's a good win to have.
Mean, makes good sense either way. And then Newbie, as we said, just won Galaxy Battles, and has had some other good placings as well. Yes.
Yeah. That's generally like.
Oh yeah, they took Zotac. They won DPL top against IG Vitality. They won Zotac Cup Masters against
Galaxy Battles.
Galaxy Battles against Team Odd. So they've got some some numbers there.
Yeah, they're looking pretty darn strong. Like, you can't argue against Newbie with 3 good LAN wins to their name, and
in the last 3 months.
And Virtus Pro, if there's any doubt, they're second place at Kiev Major and first place at Summit. Like the first place at the Summit really nodded it up. If there was any doubt, among whoever chooses the invites. So yeah, like you said, if you're gonna do 6 teams, it's pretty easy to pick these 6. After that, like, it's not a huge drop off because Secret has looked pretty good, and on paper, like Team NP has a lot of top 4 finishes, so they could have hypothetically been the 7th and 8th, but these 6 are the 6.
Yeah. There definitely are a lot of sloppy questions for 7, 8, etc. So I do like this, and the way they broke down the way qualifiers work as well. I think it'll be good. Some teams are going to feel snubbed. Yes. It's going to suck. Yes. You're going to have to deal with it if you're a fan. I'm going to have to deal with it as a fan. He's going to have to maybe deal with it as a fan.
No, I'm going to gripe about it though. I will be.
Yeah, so you're going to gripe about it no matter what. So I'm sure there's going to be some Chinese team that doesn't get to go. So it's almost a good thing that Wings disbanded, because inviting Wings would have made this ugly. Like, there's just they weren't doing well enough to justify knocking anybody out.
That's true.
I mean, on top of all the other drama and crap that happened in China.
Yeah.
So
for those who aren't up on it, there are rumors / semi-confirmed rumors / denials about Wings breaking off from the organization, the players breaking off from the organization, and being punished by the powers that be for it. Again, those are the rumors, and certainly a lot of circumstantial evidence to suggest that that is the case. But anyway, qualifier format. So there are going to be 12 qualifying teams. And the way that they're doing it is that they're actually dividing things up a little bit similar to how they did it with the Kiev Major. You're going to have 3 Chinese qualifying teams, 3 Southeast Asian qualifier teams.
Yep.
You're going to have 2 European qualifying teams, 2 North American qualifying teams, and 1 South American and 1 CIS team.
And the nice thing here is that it breaks it down on that website, dota2.com/international/announcement. It says, Europe winner, Europe runner-up, Europe runner-up, CIS winner. And so they're all, acknowledging their European teams, because CIS is kind of Europe, kind of not, but then sort of also acknowledging that's where that goes. China, 1, 2, 3, Southeast Asia, 1, 2, 3, Americas, North America winner, North America runner-up, South America winner. Same thing. They're 2 distinct regions, but they fall under this larger banner of there's 4 major areas on the map that deserve 3 invites each.
Yeah,
which I think is nice. Now, as much as North Americans are going to complain about South American teams, deal with it.
Well, I will since you opened the door about complaining, I am going to complain, but it's not going to be about South American teams. I completely understand both embracing the South American region. I think that even though I, bashed SG Esports as a whole for their performance in the Kiev Major, I still wasn't sold on it. And I was kind of trying to calm everybody down a little bit about that. I do think that the South American region does warrant an invite. What I will complain about is Southeast Asia getting 3 spots. Okay. I don't think that region is deep enough right now. And meanwhile, I think that North America really did deserve 3 full spots.
So you think that it should have been Southeast Asia, South America, and then North America got NA.
Obviously, if for whatever reason the way that they divided up the qualifiers suggests that it's like 4 regions, and you talked about that.
It's the cleanliness of the aesthetic.
Yeah, it does look clean. Looks great on the website. Not necessarily accurate. I just don't think that Southeast Asia deserves 3. I don't think there's enough talent there. I think that TNC is good. I think that Faceless is good enough. I think that there's a pretty big drop off past that. And I mean, there's a lot to like about like Fnatic.
I think there's an argument to be made for Clutch Gamers. Remember, Clutch Gamers we didn't get to see at Summit because of visa issues. And so if we can see Clutch Gamers on the international stage again, I think that they have an argument to be made. I think that you can apply that exact case to Complexity. I think you can apply that exact case to Digital Chaos, Planet Odd, NP, Team Freedom.
Yeah. Well, not really Planet Odd. We've seen what they can do, and they can do a lot. We've seen what NP can do, and they can also do a lot. Like those are 2 teams that are capable of beating those top end. They've taken wins off of those top 6 direct invites. And I think that having only 2 of DC, NP, Complexity, and Planet Odd, only 2 of them get in, while 3 of, or let's say Faceless and TNC are guaranteed an invite.
Yep.
Who's a better team? You said Clutch Gamers or Digital Chaos?
That's actually a close one. You think about it, especially because both those teams have a high number of Southeast Asian players on them.
That's true.
So Southeast Asia or Southeast Asia export.
Yeah, I guess. Really what it is. But MVPX is dead, man. You're just gonna have to live. You're just gonna have to live with it.
Yeah,
their players live on, but the team is dead.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand it, and I think as we get closer and get into the actual qualifiers and everything else, we'll have more to talk about in terms of justification. But I also think that there's an argument to be made for. I don't know. I mean, let's go ahead and look at the actual breakdowns for each of the regions with what's been announced and then opens, because
I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen so people can actually see this. All right, Infinity Shot. All right, can you see this?
Yes, I can.
All right, so here are the Europe, West, and CIS teams, which is really kind of Europe and CIS, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, technically, that's EU West, EU East in terms of if you want to call CIS that or whatever.
Yeah,
so I understand it.
Plus, I mean, like, it's kind of weird because, like, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a geography major, but CIS is specifically former Soviet Union, right?
Sort of, because like Poland doesn't act. Oh,
yeah. If it's a Bulgarian team, are they CIS?
Yes.
Although
that was technically underneath the. We're not going to get into politics and everything else because it happened when you were young and I was just before I was born. So
yeah.
Anyways, Europe West, CIS, whatever. Thoughts on Europe West, because they've got 2 teams coming out of the stack.
Well, Team Secret obviously are the favorites to win basically anything. Mouse Sports, you gotta like them. We were both at the Boston Major. They are super fun. Yeah. I think that they would like them to be, or I think Valve would like them to get in. I think that that's again fun team, a lot of personality, and not a lot of teams have a personality. So having them get in would be nice. Danish Bears, though, I could easily see them taking a win over Mouse Sports, the former Cloud9, former Imperial. And then more or less a bit of a drop off after that in my mind.
Yeah, there are a couple rosters that I've heard about that I can't say anything about just yet, excuse me, that looked so good. There were just a couple rosters that looked like they were going to be amazing and we're going to actually be able to put up a run against that number 2 spot. Maybe not be Team Secret, but other than that, be fine. and then they all got cannibalized.
Yep.
So,
Like, are you talking about like Bears or
like teams that are of that quality?
okay?
So I think that they could put a run up for that second spot, no problem. For Protect 5, which is the former Pro Dota roster, they dropped Pro Dota, and their fifth player said, "I'm not going to do that to the org. That's scummy." And so they said, "Fine, bye." My understanding, at least. So I don't know how well that team's going to do without their fifth, or
Yeah,
who
well,
their new fifth will be.
well, they'll have their chance to. We'll see. We'll see.
That's true.
I will say that I think that if I'm going to subtract an invite or a qualifier spot from SEA, you can make a strong case that you should do 2 CIS teams because this is a pretty good lineup right here for CIS. Yep. Yeah, I think at least. I think Team Empire generally strong enough to compete with other European teams. Probably not at that top tier level yet, but I could see them taking wins.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that CIS is a little bit weaker than you think that it is. Like Comanche, they're kind of a stack. Navi, we've all talked about how strong or weak they are.
Yeah, Navi kind of operates by their own rules, though. I mean,
yeah, Navi can go. I mean, if they go off it, then congrats. You know, they can go do amazingly, but they could also just deflate and be awful.
Yeah, both in terms of like how they play and how tournament organizers handle them, they play by their own rules. So,
but I mean, I see there being enough competition here for one spot. I think that there will be maybe 4 teams that can compete for that number 1 spot, and that's a good breakdown amount, in my opinion, is sort of 4-1. So in Europe West as a whole, you've got 10 and 10, you know, you've got 20, and then you break it down into 3 Europe West and CIS combined. It's a decent amount. In China with the
yeah, I pulled you up.
Yep.
Oh
god. Oh no. In China, you've got, you know, I definitely think there's enough competition there for just all of those slots to go into 3.
Okay.
It's a little bit much, but I think it's pretty decent with all the LGDs and all the IG, CDEC, eHome
moving down to China now. Yeah,
there's so much competition there that I think that's again legitimately. I think that every team in this slot, including the Opens and maybe not Champions Cup winner, but all of those teams have arguments to be made for, not just arguments to be made, but I think legitimately have a shot at winning.
Yeah, these are all very good teams in China. These are all established teams and not only that, but these are teams that either have been or were supposed to be in major lands.
Mm-hmm. And take wins off in those lands, not just like show up, hi, dead.
Well, except for CDEC, I don't think that did they actually get into any major lands because they're supposed to be in Summit, right?
Checking now. CDEC Gaming, scrolling.
Yeah, due to visa issues, so CDEC was supposed to be.
Yeah, and they did take 3rd at NEA 2016, but that was wow, a year ago now.
Yeah.
Wow, time is just flying.
It does. But yeah, this is a strong lineup of teams, and I think it would still by far the deepest region as a whole. I mean, you know, we just saw Vici Gaming J at the Summit. They didn't look great, but they still got there, and they still deserved a spot there, and they've still taken wins at other lands. Vici Gaming, strong lineup. LGD, you know, had a really strong run at the Summit, which we'll get to later. IG Vitality, they earned their way into the Boston Major, and I mean, again, CDEC should have been in the Summit. I mean, so much talent there.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like which region has teams that are going to potentially end up top 4, I mean, it's basically China, and then like Secret, and then everybody else. Southeast Asia.
Yeah. We already talked about it a little bit. I think that there are. This is where that argument can be made for 4-1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, Happy Feet. I can see 6 teams here being arguably worth going to TI for either name recognition or because of quality. Fnatic being my name recognition team. I will admit, I don't know. I have not seen enough from the Fnatic squad to say, yes, they deserve a shot. But Fnatic has such a history that I think that there's a little bit of an argument to be made there, like the Navi factor.
Yeah, they have a very, very talented lineup. They picked up a couple. They plugged in their empty spots with some of the ex MVP Phoenix players.
You got to click on the right. Yeah, Ajit, QO, Ohio, DJ, Febby. That's a good squad.
Yeah, that's a very good squad, but the results haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about them getting a spot in the qualifiers for damn sure. But
yeah, no, I think that again, like we said before, Faceless Mineski.
Yeah, Faceless is a team
guaranteed.
You know, we've seen a lot of Faceless.
Faceless TNC, not Mineski. But Mineski, Fnatic, and Clutch Gamers all have that argument that I keep using that word for. They all have a very real shot of making that third slot. And you know what? If that's what we're gonna see, that's fine. And I would quite frankly rather see a little bit wider of a net be cast, you know, providing these invites to Southeast Asia, providing these invites to South America, you know, splitting up Europe into 2 regions a little bit and, you know, providing the depth of field to one side that's just got more teams in it overall.
Yeah.
Than providing such a roster where, because if you go, hey, we're going to give all of our, you know, vertical teams stack, next thing you know, we're going to have the best 16 teams all be from Korea, and we're going to be, you know, League of Legends boys. But
yeah.
Until then, I'm fine with this. North America and South America?
Yeah, let's start with South America because look at that. We got 4 teams and then 6 open qualifier spots.
What happens when your region is just getting started out again?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen all 4 of these teams were at WESG, right?
In some capacity, I do believe so. I don't think Midas Club was by name, but I know a couple of their players were.
Okay.
So
I know Elite Wolves, Infamous, and SG Esports were though.
Yeah, but we can also talk about SG at, you know, a major. So again, didn't do great, and then had that little spark of life. So the spark of life, I think, is the argument to say, look at South America, pay attention to them, do not disrespect them, because things could go sideways. But that's it. I'm not saying that they are, you know, amazing. I'm just saying that, you know, they need to be paid attention to now.
Yeah. And ultimately, this will be kind of the TI7 will be the temperature check on how legitimate they are. And North America.
Yeah.
These 4 teams, Complexity, Digital Chaos, NP, and Planet Odd, varying degrees of really good. There's a little bit of confusion about Planet Odd being recognized as a North American team when none of them, well, actually, when 4 of them are European and 1 of them is Canadian. I think that the team plays out of Europe now, though, right?
Well, they did. They moved back to Europe for a little bit, but there is the fact that they competed in North America for the entire TI7 year, you know, from TI6 forward. They were playing in America. They lived in America for a while. They competed in the North American region. And on top of that, at Galaxy Battles, there was an interview with Misery, and he said that they were planning on competing in North America again. Whether that means moving back to NA or just continuing this NA-EU thing that they're doing, I don't know. I was obviously not the one doing the interview, but you know, that's what we have been told about Planet Odd. And again, that, as always, we'll be following that Odd story.
Yep. And you know, Digital Chaos, NP, and Planet Odd are teams that have been at Major Lands and have gotten wins at Major Lands.
Yep.
Complexity, they have a strong enough lineup and, you know, the name brand recognition that I could see them making some noise. I could see them potentially getting their way into TI7. And then there's these 3. Is basically how I'm looking at it.
I mean, team. Let me see
who's the current Freedom lineup.
I'm looking it up right now.
I'm also looking it up right now. Everybody can see me looking it up.
Yerwar, CCNC, Snaking, Francis Lee. It's the King stack.
Okay. So, yeah, it's not bad, but yeah.
And of course, the Wheels Wreck while whistling do not have a page on the Team Liquid wiki. So,
But yeah, again, I think it's a little bit of a shame that only 2 of Complexity, DC, NP, and Planet Odd are going to be able to get in, but...
And I think that it's going to be DC, NP, Planet Odd. I really, as much as like, yay, Complexity, like, yeah, they're the plucky underdog story. But I don't see this squad that didn't get a finalized roster until the day before things closed, which included them poaching Demon, if I remember correctly. Again, I love Demon, great guy.
I've got it up right here.
Firo, Melon, Z Freak dropping in Demon and putting Melons back, like, I don't know,
in the 3 spot.
Yeah, putting Melons back in that offlane off of position 4. I mean, again, I think that Melons is a much better offlaner than, oh god, I am like,
there we go. Come back.
All right. I think that Melons is a much better offlaner than position 4, especially because his jungle roamers are kind of out again.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Complexity has not shown up for me lately.
They have not.
Or for anybody for that matter.
Granted, I would agree that I'm being pretty sentimental, but yeah, those, like I said, it's definitely those 3 teams in North America, Odd, NP, and DC, then Complexity, and then everybody else, in my mind. Mm-hmm. But I think that those top 3 in NA that's a strong top 3.
Yeah. And again, though, when there's 3 out of 2 or 2 out of 3, somebody's going home empty-handed.
Yeah, which is a damn shame.
And it could be any of, I mean...
Yeah, I could absolutely see any of those 3 taking wins off of another, and then, a team like Complexity possibly, playing spoiler.
Yeah, you get plenty of spoiler options. And these open qualifiers, if they're taken seriously, which I think they might be this year, especially because it's a TI open quals, it's not just, open quals, veggies, because, oh yeah, great, we're going to have to deal with that debacle again. But I think that we might have a legitimate thing there. I think the Champions Cup winner is going to be kind of a joke because of the rule set involving Champions Cup and how complicated that gets. It disincentivizes people playing in that versus opens. So
it does.
And then, as we said, South America has 6 open qualifier slots, so anything can happen there.
Yeah, and given how they've actually stuck around, you got to imagine that SG, Infamous, and Elite Wolves are the actual favorites. But which of those 3? Who knows?
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts on the TI7 news?
I think that the 6 is good. I think the 18 is good as well, and I look forward to open quals starting in 3 days.
Yep. Gonna be interesting to
Sunday,
see,
boys and girls.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see what new teams and old faces pop up. Like Sing Sing? Does he have anything going on right now?
Say again?
Sing Sing? Is he gonna do this?
Let's see where Sing Sing. Where you at, boy?
He retired, I believe.
Yes, he retired back in 2016, which means expect to see him be on some stack for open quals just to give him an excuse to stream a massive block of time.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I'll watch.
I have to figure out who I'm going to watch for open qualifier coverage.
I'll bounce around throughout the day. We'll see how it goes for me. But yeah, those were TI7. Fun stuff. Looking forward to it, etc. Blah blah. So moving over now, we're looking forward to this upcoming tournament, but now we get to look at the other tournaments that just wrapped up yesterday. We had Summit 7 and Galaxy Battles, and started off with Summit 7. I watched pretty much all of it. You watched the other one.
I tried to watch Galaxy Battles. There was a lot of falling asleep during it because I had a lot of family stuff going on during the days. I was like, yeah, let's watch this at night. I forgot how much family stuff took out of you.
Yeah, it can be exhausting.
So watch what I could.
But Summon 7, very entertaining. They did a their usual roundup of funny segments between matches. They were pretty funny. They had a headset throwing contest with Puppy in it. Puppy
Supposedly
won.
all of the headsets still work. I remember seeing those tweets.
Supposedly.
I mean, that's a great way to sell your headsets. If you're Sennheiser and you've got quality, durable headsets, is they can survive a beating by Puppy.
Yeah, and I should note that when they did the headset throwing contest, he was like probably 10 feet away and took out 2 monitors with one throw. Yeah. So
I might have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, granted they weren't real monitors. They were like those cheap, flimsy, like fake IKEA monitors, but he still hit them and hit 2 of them with one throw. So anyway, really the story of the event is that Virtus Pro, 1, they don't give a shit, and 2, they will beat you while not giving a shit.
I think that's the best way for them to win is by not giving a shit.
Yeah, because they looked absolutely unstoppable, which is kind of weird because they lost the game, but they did get revenge later. In the opening round, they lost to they beat Team Empire 2-0. Really just had no trouble doing it, basically. Their first game was a 41-minute game. Their second game was a 22-minute game. Like they asserted their dominance over Team Empire. Then they actually lost 2-1 to LGD Gaming. Dropped to the lower bracket, beat DC 2-1, then beat Team NP 2-0, then 2-0 to LGD to spite them, and then beat Team Secret 3-2 in the finals. And during all this, they never picked the same hero twice in the entire tournament.
My understanding was that in game 5, they finally had to repick against Team Secret.
Oh yeah.
But they still picked heroes they hadn't picked yet, because I heard that they played, because I remember seeing somebody tweet, well, Anti-Mage is still new for them because they hadn't played him yet.
Yeah.
But they did play a sort of more standard draft. I did pull that one up on Track Dota, and
they still fielded drafts. They didn't field like super duper crazy drafts even when they were doing this. Like game 3 in the finals was Batrider, Earth Spirit, Dazzle, Viper, and Huskar. I mean, those are Viper and Huskar makes it feel a little bit pub stompy, and they won that game, I should note. But
a little pub stompy.
It's not an especially like unusual draft though in terms of like its composition.
But it's definitely just flavorful enough to make things interesting.
Yes, and it was interesting. And again, they won the tournament, took the top prize, and it was they had Dendy commentating. Just really strong performance by them. Bottom line, really strong performance. LGD Gaming, in my mind, was the other big story of the tournament. They got in as a last-minute replacement for CDEC, which we discussed last week. CDEC had visa issues. LGD Gaming had visas in hand, and they were like, put us in, coach. And they got put in, and they did pretty damn well. They beat Team NP in the first round, then beat VP in the second round. And that's enough to be proud of right there. They ended up losing in the upper bracket to Secret, and then getting knocked out in the upper loser bracket finals by to VP. But the fact that they got third place, when they were just kind of subbed in, have to be feeling good about that.
Yeah. The interesting thing is everybody was tweeting about how they thought the Team Secret needed to win the summit in order to get an invite, and it was going to be them or Virtus Pro. And I could understand the rationale behind it, but VP winning this and getting the invite direct just feels better. In terms of if I was writing the Dota script, or even if you were just kind of talking about invite rationale, Virtus Pro did significantly better at Kiev Major. They took second. They won the summit, and sure, if they took second at the summit, though, I think that they would still maybe have an argument over Team Secret. So they really would have had to have flamed out somewhere along the way.
Yeah, Secret. The big thing that they could hang their hat on is a third, fourth place finish at Epicenter.
Yep.
But that's not necessary. And couple that with a win at the summit, and it might be a different story. But
yeah,
as it stands.
Yeah, I just noticed on the trivia thing on Wikipedia, Virtus Pro picked 5 unique heroes in all but the last of their 17 games, playing 81 of 112 heroes available in Captain's mode.
Yeah,
and then the next closest team was 34 with Team Secret. So
yeah, it was a really.
They did play more games though, so
they did.
I mean, that doesn't explain that much of the gap, but
that's a lot of heroes in 17 games, though.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of heroes.
I think it's a reminder of how deep their hero pool is.
Yeah, and it's also a pretty good complement in terms of the actual balance of Dota 2 as it stands right now.
Yep.
There's a lot of room for error there with all the new additions since the Boston Major with the 7.0 update. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good, all things considered.
Yep.
And Team NP, kind of iffy on them after this. They looked really good at the last tournament they were in. What was it? It wasn't.
Zotac.
It was Zotac.
Yep. Okay.
They looked really good at Zotac. They also looked really good at the Manila Masters, but this could have been their coming out party as a top end team. And I guess you could make a case that with a 3rd place finish at the Manila Masters and a 2nd place finish at Zotac, if you added a 1st place finish at the Summit, that you could have possibly discussed them as a direct invite team. But alas, they didn't really come too close to taking the top prize there. They lost to LGD in the quarterfinals, beat Empire and Na'Vi in the lower bracket, and then lost to VP2O to get eliminated. A little bit disappointed there. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, not great showing, but again, I think that the odds of them getting a direct invite were slim no matter what, just because they have had no 1st place finishes anyways for this brief little stretch. So I think maybe if it lights a fire under them and gets them going, then great, but it's a bump in the road in the big picture. Outside of taking top 3 at Summit, and I mean they did take top 4, so
yeah. I mean, if they had gotten 1st place with those other 2, then maybe that you could have made a case.
Yeah, then there's things to be talked about. But taking 4th, it's kind of like, crap, we took 4th.
Yeah, and I mean, I should note that they didn't really beat top end teams either. Their wins came over Empire. Again, they're not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination, but not exactly an elite group. And then Na'Vi, we've discussed them at length. Yeah.
Yep.
They should have been expected to beat them, and then when they did come up against VP, they got kind of not routed.
Because who didn't get rolled on by Team VP like Virtus Pro?
To be honest, beat them.
Okay. Okay. LGD. Although LGD did get rolled the 2nd time, from what I understand.
And Secret took them 5 games.
True, but then they were just like, "Fine, we'll take the training wheels off."
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to bang on VP because goddamn, that was a really strong performance. But
yeah,
NP hypothetically could have been able to beat them, and they didn't. So we'll see if they can pull it together, because I think that lineup is still a top end team. Is still top end team material. I think that those are 5. All 5 players are good. And I think that they're capable of beating top end teams, but they just need to fully gel. It felt like they were gelling in the last couple tournaments at Zotac and Manila Masters. They still need a little bit more to make some real noise at the international, though.
Oh, definitely.
Hopping over to Galaxy Battles now.
Yeah. Plagued by issues. They had again. They started it in a major storm.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, crap. You had 3 groups, which is kind of funky, but I'm sorry, it was Group A, Group B, and then there was a tiebreaker group. That's right.
Yeah.
So you had Group A was Newbie, Vici Gaming, TNC, Mouse Sports, and everybody went 2-1.
Yep.
Except for Mouse Sports, who went 0-3. Excuse me. So Newbie, Vici Gaming, and TNC had to then do tiebreakers, and Newbie came out on top with that 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. But in the rules, way back, they had said that final standings would be determined by time rating, meaning how fast do you win. Not even like head-to-head, like, okay, let's figure out head-to-head. Nope. Time. Who wins the fastest game, which means that everybody should have been picking rushdown comps.
They should have.
And maybe they did. I think it was one of those days that I passed out. Yeah, I passed out before tiebreakers started, so I missed all that drama. And then Group B was much more straightforward with Planet Odd and IG Vitality each going 2-1, excuse me, and then Happy Feet and Infamous both going 1-2. And this was Happy Feet's chance to make an argument that they deserve, or even have an opportunity to make it out of SEA. Obviously, SEA has no invites, but to instill confidence in that team, not so much.
Not so much.
They beat Infamous, and that's it. Going on to the actual playoffs themselves, you pretty much had Newbie, IG Vitality, Planet Odd, and Vici Gaming went straight to winner semis, while TNC playing Infamous in Losers Round 1, and Happy Feet playing Mouse Sports in Losers Round 1 as well, and then climbing the way up. So it was Newbie versus Planet Odd in the winners finals, and then Newbie versus Planet Odd in the grand finals. Looking at the losers, TNC had a good run. They ran they beat IG Vitality. Mouse Sports beat Vici Gaming. TNC beat Mouse Sports, and Planet Odd struggled to beat TNC in losers finals. So they had a good run. Their game versus Planet Odd was close, and Planet Odd's play style is something that is a kind of play style that they have traditionally struggled with on the TNC squad. They're just fluid enough to make it hard to draft against them with their style. I think it's a good way to put it. They've got a couple of aces up their sleeves that they can use.
They do. Yeah, I mean, Newbie ultimately won.
Yeah, and that 3-0, if I remember correctly, because I was falling asleep during this series as well.
It was a 3-0
in my life. Pardon?
It was a 3-0.
No, I was saying as much as it was a 3-0, the first couple matches felt much closer. So the story may be 3-0, but within those matches they were a little bit closer of a series. So
it wasn't the route that the numbers would suggest. I mean, yeah, I'm pulling up the individual matches. And yeah, I mean, the final kill count for game 3 was 1919. DC actually, or excuse me, in game 1 it was 15-20, but they weren't blowouts in the way.
They were, I mean, the 34, 47, 34. They're good games. GG's.
Yeah. Not Planet Odd didn't look as bad as the numbers would suggest. Is long story short. And yeah, like you said, you gotta feel pretty good about TNC taking third place there.
Yeah. Again, especially if you're TNC going right, flex it. Let's go. Yeah, TNC versus Planet Odd. TNC took game 1 in 37. Game 2, was this the one that they could have? Yeah, there were a couple times where they could have brought it back in the 20-ish minute mark, where they had some okay fights, but the entire game they were just kind of just behind. So yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean,
game 3 was just a total stomp in terms of Planet Odd figuring out and just running away with it.
I don't think it would be especially eyebrow raising if I said the TNC is probably the best team in SEA right now, and the performance here would be becoming of that. I would say third place, third place isn't ideal, but Planet Odd and Newbie, no shame in losing to them.
Well, there is a certain former captain of Evil Geniuses who was on the record saying third is good enough for us. Then retired not long after, but he said it. So take that as you will. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that no Dota player truly believes that. But
I mean, when you look at the prize pool after, probably not.
that softens the fall a little bit.
Well, when you get your paycheck after, but when you look at that, it raises exponentially. So,
speaking of prize pool, I want to see if when we started the show, when we started the show, it had just broken $15.9 million, and I was hoping that it had I was hoping that it had broken 16 million.
okay.
But I don't think it's quite there. I'm pulling up Cyborg Matt's page. Nope. Because his is supposedly a little bit liver than the actual website.
I needed to get to 23 million and then just immediately stop.
Go to 23.5.
23.5 is fine with me. 23.9 is fine with me.
As long as it's under 24. Same.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. It like just right there. 23,999,999 and then stop. I mean, I know that the players probably want more, but
yes, we want more than our cuts of,
Think of me. I want those 10 levels on my battle pass. Oh, and story I threw out there last week when it comes to Galaxy Battles, Infamous carrying that South America's flag into this tournament, and
oh yes,
didn't look great.
They dropped it on the flight over.
They did.
They won one. Who did they beat?
They actually took a win off of Planet Odd.
Yeah, dude.
They took a win over Planet Odd, but still ultimately went 1-2 in the group stages. And then lost in the first round.
I remember this game. Oh, I remember this game. Oh, I wanted to forget this game. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Oh. So, there was a 1.7% gold difference at the end of the game.
Nice.
So, it was, okay. Again, this is best of one here. And for the first 10 minutes or so, Infamous doing pretty good. Then they throw a fight. And then there's only like a 5-minute thing. And then there's this massive team fight at 20, almost 20 minutes flat, where just everybody, we have a dieback on Jug, just this slaughter fest. And then you got a good, 15 minutes where Infamous is winning. And then they're doing it. Planet Odd's coming back. They're coming back. They lose one fight, but it's okay. They traded. We're not losing too much. And then they lose 4, and then they lose 3 in a fight like 4 minutes later. Like the first fight was 4 minutes long, or 2 minutes long, first of all. So it went from 44 minutes to 46 minutes. Just fight. And then after that one's done, then about 46 and change, another fight starts almost immediately afterward. So in the span of about a minute and a half, which is about as long as Clinks' respawn timer was at that point, 7 of them died. And then you just see this sharp spike back down as Infamous take it. And it was just like, what went wrong?
You look at the net worth and experience charts, and it is it was a throw. It looked like
it was something, but there were a couple on both teams. It was ugly.
It was. It breaks pretty heavily, or the net worth chart actually breaks pretty heavily in favor of Infamous at the beginning, then bounces back up for a little while to Planet Odd, then for a prolonged stretch, it's pretty heavily in and
it's exactly where those fights are. There's a little bit of better farming in a couple slots, but it was just,
it goes down, then up, then down, then up, then way down.
Yeah, it was a 30-43 victory in 46 minutes.
Yeah.
And Resolution, when the game was over, had as Clinks Deso, Bloodthorn, Black King Bar, a Diffusal Blade, and Cheese.
Yeah. That's
like
that's 46 minutes. Not a lineup of items that's not a lineup of items you lose with often.
Yeah. But he also had the highest net worth on his team by about 6K. So
yeah.
Infamous, on the other hand, had a speaking of items you don't lose with, Benjaz with a lower net worth then Resolution by 2,000 gold had a Manta Style, a Diffusal Blade, and a Blink Dagger. All right, pretty solid. And a Scotty.
Nice.
And prior to 36 minutes, though, all he had was that Manta Style. He was a naked Juggernaut until 36 minutes when he just said, I'm going full Scotty. Then I'm going to get... He bought Blink Dagger last at 44 minutes because, okay.
Yeah.
So, again, very sloppy. But hey,
yeah, the timing is...
South America can show up.
The timing is 6 minutes Phase Boots, 6 minutes TP Scroll, 18 minutes Manta Style, 36 minutes Eye of Scotty. And should note that this is a 46-minute game. Then 41-minute Diffusal, 44-minute Blink. So, yeah. He was pretty underfarmed for a good stretch there.
Yeah, so Infamous showing that they can at least play with the big boys. But Newbie, just kind of the story of this. Newbie and Planet Odd.
Yeah, Newbie looks really good, just in general.
So it was Galaxy Battles. Again, they had some issues technically in terms of broadcast. The analyst's desk was casting off of, traditionally you've got about a 40 to 50-inch TV that's underneath the cameras. So because it's a good 5 feet away from the desk normally, and so you need a large monitor to look at. They were using a 24-inch monitor because they couldn't get the TV to work.
Ooh.
Yeah, they snapped a photo of it because Nahaz was having a hard time reading something because A, old man eyes, not really, but that's what the joke was, and B, tiny little monitor way away. So
I mean, 24 inches from any length is not ideal. Not ideal. So
right.
I'm gonna switch over. Any other thoughts on Galaxy Battles?
Nope. Other than I hope everybody makes it home safe, because I know that what's his name? Shannon. Oh my god, how am I forgetting his name? Sunsfan. There we go. Wow, I don't know how I forgot Sunsfan's name. All I wanted to do was call him Shannon because I don't know. It's a much more memorable name in a lot of ways. He is still stuck in China. He was his plane was delayed for 3 hours. Then they were on the plane for 3 hours, and then the flight was canceled, and so they had to get off the plane.
That is the worst.
I was like, I will be very happily planted with my feet on the ground right here. Thank you very much.
I hate flying in general, and then you get that shit on top of it.
But I don't love it.
I hate it. I hate it.
Oh, goody. Severe storms are on their way. So
yeah. I got stuck in Detroit, of all places, once.
A decent airport.
Decent airport.
95.
Horrifying city.
Fair enough. I mean, I have Detroit. I have a soft spot for Detroit. I have family just outside of the city.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And as much as everybody gives Michigan crap, again, I have a soft spot for it. It definitely needs some work, but a lot of people in the city are doing their best to make it work. So,
they are polishing that turd, I'm sure. That's me being mean. All
right.
Anyway, gonna run off some questions for you. We should probably come up with a name for this segment, shouldn't we?
Yes, we should. If you all want to help us come up with a question for it, you can tweet at him at @Rondina.
Or you can comment or whatever.
Or do all that stuff. I'm trying to increase our interactions on other platforms here.
I mean,
yes, you should also comment down below. But
YouTube algorithms and blah blah blah.
This is true.
So questions. Kind of touched on it briefly before. TNC, third place at Galaxy Battles. Are they now the, on paper, best team in Southeast Asia?
I think they've been the best team on Southeast Asia other than their Faceless Kryptonite. And that's a problem, is that Faceless is their Kryptonite still.
That's true. That's
but true. TNC, especially when playing international teams, is just so damn good. So I think that coming forward, I will be very, very surprised if TNC, assuming they put in the work and continue to be the good players that they have shown to be and continue to listen to their support staff, should have no problem making it to TI. And I would expect to see a top 12 result. Top 12. Top 12.
All right, then. Hopping over to the summit. Is VP winning the single greatest performance in a LAN tournament ever?
No. Hands down, no. No. Even from spectacle style, we can just look at majors. You've got CDEC's run, or was it eHome? TI4. No, TI5.
TI4 was, yeah, I was about to say CDEC was against EG in the finals of TI5.
Yeah. So next TI6 was Wings, TI5 was Evil Geniuses, it's TI4 because it was CDEC. They went from wild card all the way through to winning. That, in my opinion, is one of the best one.
Wait, to winning?
Hang on. International 5. Here we go. Who was that? Who won that?
Yeah, EG.
Oh, TI4. Excuse me, TI4.
Yeah, it was Vici Gaming versus Newbie in the finals of TI4, right? Yeah, it was. Yep,
what?
I'm looking at it right now.
What am I on? Was it? What am I?
Good memory by me.
My memory is what? Where did they place then? Was that TI?
TI5 was CDEC. In the finals,
second at all was still the big deal. Okay,
yeah,
that's right. I remember that now. Because in my memory, I wanted to give it to them for winning, going from wild card, but taking second still, I think is a big enough deal that it puts it over VP. I think that Wings' run at TI6 was disgustingly good. TI4 Newbie's run was also up there. But I mean, I can think of just a lot of other runs in majors or other events that I think are worth talking about. ESO won Frankfurt was a really good LAN. So I think that it was a very good run from VP, and I think that them playing with the training weights on was a thing, but I don't think it was the best.
Well, in general, I think that there's a case that can be made, but we'll move on to the next question. Team NP.
Yep.
What are you thinking that they're going to do at the international?
I think they're going to take second. They're going to make it to the international, and then it is a big ball of nerves, and it's just going to be they could land anywhere between top 6 and bottom 6. I don't see them blowing out entirely and taking bottom 2. I think they will make it to the main stage, but I think that NP, again, prediction now, whatever. I think that NP will make it to TI, and I think that as long as nerves don't get to them, they can be a top 8 team. But if nerves do get to them, they could lose anywhere along the way.
Yeah, I think that again, not to go back too hard on the qualifiers, I think that third SEA team, that South American team, opens the door. Like, not to be mean, but those would be the guys you earmark for last place.
I think coming into it, I agree in terms of just historically speaking, they have a chance. I would love to be wrong, but until then, wait and see.
Yeah,
prove me wrong, boys, please. I love upset stories. As me just talking about CDEC.
I mean, DC's running TI6. I liked better than CDEC, but
that was a good one too. And again, there's another case of taking second and doing amazingly.
Anyways, next question. Same question, except for mouse sports.
I think that realistically, they are 50-50 on even making it to TI.
Okay.
Just because of that. Of course, I just closed that tab because but I like between them and Danish Bears, I see them taking second. Fighting for second with Team Secret, then taking first. And I go bottom half of the top 16. I think that they'll have just good enough a performance that they'll squeak into loser's side of main stage. But that's about as far as I see them going. I would love to see them pop off and just do great, but I don't think I see it right now, especially with their performance at Galaxy Battles being as rough as it was.
All right, and Vici Gaming J.
Whew. Okay. They played at Summit, right?
They played at Summit and looked pretty bad in the process. Got 2-0'd by Navi in the upper bracket, then 2-0'd by DC in the lower bracket.
Yes.
Is there any hope for them?
There's hope. It's a good lineup. I have a hard time ever counting Aggressive and ROTK out. Yeah. Like those two alone can carry almost any team.
Speaking of TI4 CDC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good memory. Good memory.
But no, I think CDC 2014 to 2016. I mean, that's a good to the TI5 roster. But I don't know enough about China to feel comfortable calling this. They're all good teams. I think that these open qualifiers probably don't stand a chance, but I think that VGJ, if they get in, they'll be third probably to TI.
I'll give you a surprise question I just thought of.
Okay.
Last week we talked about LGD Forever Young in comparison to LGD Gaming. LGD Gaming, third place at the Summit. Yep. And again, they took a win over VP in the upper bracket. Are they now, in your opinion, the better LGD team?
Who?
LGD Gaming or LGD Forever Young? Which is better?
Man, that's tough.
Yeah. Last week, I don't want to put your words in your mouth, but you said that there's a possibility that they're going to swap who the primary team is, right?
Last week, I felt that LGD FY was doing significantly better than LGD Gaming was. LGD Gaming, their last, let's see, they won the Galaxy Battles. Yeah, LGD Gaming had won Galaxy Battles China qualifier. They had won the Dota Summit 7 Chinese qualifier, or they took second in that, excuse me. And then because CDEC couldn't make it, they went. They took second at a bunch of qualifiers, or 5th through 12th. They have not been at a major event since Boston, where they took 9th to 16th, where they lost to LFY.
I
remember
that.
LGD Forever Young, on the other hand, took 3rd, 4th at Epicenter, took 2nd at the Galaxy Battles China qualifier, losing to LGD. They took 1st at the Mars Dota 2 League China qualifier and then did okay in that. But again, these two teams kind of taking things back and forth off of each other. At the time, I thought that LGD FY was doing better, and going into TI season, they may want to swap. That said, I think that both of these teams definitely do have a shot now at looking very good at the international, and might as well just keep them the same.
All right. And that's it for me.
That's I'm gonna refresh this tracker page one more time. Nope, nothing. So no
still
refresh.
Not 16 million quite yet.
Nope. Would have been cool if it happened on stream.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, hey, we just crossed 16 mil, but no.
Yeah, but we're done. And we're gonna be here probably next week. Can wrap on the.
There's gonna be enough happening. Well, we can talk about open quals.
Yeah, and when is Dream League? July 22nd or 21st, 22nd?
Yeah, it's the end of July, so we got time.
And yeah, MDL is also in July. And that will be a fun tournament, though, if we can actually stay awake for it.
Yeah.
Though obviously not going to have any real impact on TI at this point.
Yep.
Since
other than warm-ups and things like that, yeah.
4 of them are already, in. And then both of the LGD teams are in there. Speak of the devil. And then Clutch Gamers, and then someone from Europe. But that'll be it for today. Like, share, comment, subscribe, etc. I'm at Rondina on Twitter. He's at MTarget Product. Okay. Yep. All right. And see you next week.